I'm here at the gallery of John Freeman, one of the UK's top photographers and authors, to talk about his work and hopefully get a few tips on how to get better pictures. So I'm here with John Freeman at his fantastic gallery in the Oxo Tower on London's South Bank. So time with John, we've got a lot of different styles of photography here: portraits, landscapes, flower studies. What's your favourite style?
I'm not sure that I have a particular favourite, and that's what I love about photography. I mean, there are so many subjects to cover that I think it keeps me fresh, and I just love looking through the viewfinder. I always have done, and I like to think that I always will.
So you've got an exhibition here at the moment called Anything But Celebrity, and it's an exhibition of portraits, is that right?
Yes, these portraits have been taken over a period of time, but some of them, like these ones here in India, I shot in April when I was in India doing a book on Iyengar yoga, because Mr. Iyengar is going to be 90 this year, so I was refreshing a book on that particular subject and took these shots when we weren't actually shooting or I had some spare time.
So you've got some great portraits here. What's your technique for photographing people you don't know?
Well, I guess if you take somebody like this guy here, which is one of my most recent shots in India, I just met him on the road and I immediately engaged him in conversation. I find that if you just go up to somebody and shove a camera in the face, that's the way that they're going to be hostile to you, and my aim is to get them to be confident with me. Once they're confident, then basically they'll just do whatever I want them to do. Also, with a portrait like this, I invariably use a reflector to push some light back into the face. I can use fill-in flash, but it's not my preferred choice because I always find that it's slightly unnatural. With a reflector, I can see exactly where the light's going and where I want it to be. Also, it doesn't make them jump. Often with a flash, it can catch them unawares. But with a reflector, they don't even know what it's doing half the time. And it just gives a very natural light. And I think it's a great portrait.
It's very sharp, isn't this picture? What camera equipment do you use?
I took this on the Canon EOS 1DS Mark II, which is my favourite camera. The lenses I find are incredibly sharp. I shot this on the 24-70 zoom 2.8. I always like lenses with big maximum apertures. The reason I like a big maximum aperture is because I like the background to go out of focus, and I just get the focus really sharp on the eyes. I mean, I think you'll have to agree, but I mean, I don't think I could have got it any sharper. And that intensifies the eyes and just draws you right into the face.
So apart from India, where else have you been taking portraits?
Just about everywhere. I mean, here we've got Tunisia, Ghana, Moscow, New Orleans, Rio.
You've got really nice eye contact in this picture.
Yes, this was shot in Rio in a favela, which is the slum area of the city. And in actual fact, it was incredibly dark. It was so dark that I had to put the ISO up to 800. I also shot 15th of a second at 2.8 on the 70 to 200 IS lens, IS standing for image stabilization. And again, I think it shows the quality of the Canon lens, that you can get a handheld shot like that at that shutter speed and keep those eyes as sharp as they are.
So John, can you share a few tips on how to get really good portraits?
Well, I think the most important part is to always get the confidence of the person you're photographing. I hate using long lenses and almost standing behind a tree and trying to get them without them knowing. My style of photography, I think, is straight in your face, and I think this boy is a perfect example of that. I mean, I just saw him in the distance, and he just had the most incredible face, and you can just make out all the other boys in the background. I mean, there were literally hundreds of them jostling, trying to get into my frame, but he just stands out completely serene. And I think that's because he felt completely confident with me and I wasn't a threat, and I think that's the number one in getting a good portrait.
So John, you also do a lot of fine art figure photography, I gather.
Yes, that's right, and this is one of my most popular pictures here.
It's a really nice shot, actually. I guess you need a lot of studio lighting for this kind of thing.
Well, actually, that's done with available light in my living room, and it was just coming through a window which is on the right-hand side of the picture. I did have a reflector on the left-hand side of the picture, which just added a bit to the shadows. But I think it's important that you can get a shot like this that is really classily lit, and it is just with available light.
So this is one of your big fine art prints, but I see you also sell smaller prints in your gallery as well.
That's right, and they're printed in the same way, on the same paper. I always use hand wool, a photo rag paper, which I think is just unbelievable quality.
I have to say, I love this picture here. How did you take this one?
Well, again, it's on the Canon, and I used the 24-70 lens, but in this particular case, I used the number 2 extension tube. That allowed me to get really close. In actual fact, I was probably only about 4 inches from her lips when I took that shot. And again, the sharpness of it just goes to show the quality of the gallery.
I was going to say, it's fabulously sharp, and then anyone who doubts that digital is any good or as good as film, that's just a look at this picture, doesn't it? It's amazing.
Well, I always say, when people come in here and they talk about the virtues of film and digital and things like that, and they pick out a shot that they particularly like, I just say to them, well, if you can do that better on film, show me, and I'll go back to film.
So you've got a lot of great pictures here, but of course not everyone lives in London or can get to your gallery. But I see you also have a lot of photography books there.
Yes, I mean, probably most people know my name from the books, because I think I've done something like about 35 now.
35 books?
35 books, and this is the latest book.
Oh, Digital SLR Handbook. Okay. So don't forget, if you're interested in John Freeman's photography and you want some more tips and advice from John, then why not look at one of his books? If you go to Amazon, key in the name John Freeman, you're going to find plenty of them there. Or if you want a signed copy, go to his website.
Yep.